There's a crisis at hand. It's been called the silent tsunami. It threatens to kill 10 million people each year, half of them children. It is a crisis of global proportions. A crisis fueled in part by rising prices and diminishing supplies. It presents a threat to the security and stability of nations. But is food security a storm ASEAN is in a position to weather?
The mechanism for food security has been in place for a long time here within the ASEAN region. We have what we call the ASEAN Food Security Reserves. We have the ASEAN Emergency Rice Reserve with the help of the Japanese and with the participation of China and South Korea.
Even so, some ASEAN nations are facing problems that range from the effects of global warming to the challenges of industrialization. Less arable land, more pollution, less agricultural activity, more mouths to feed.
Well, definitely land use is a big issue. The rural area, the farming area is getting less and less of the ratio of land in our region. The urbanization, certainly the growth of industry, the different usage of the land area, certainly putting pressure on the food production.
There's a lot of talk about the interest in biofuels. In the context of Southeast Asia, that has been a common trend that has been noticed, that some of the lands, arable lands that have been used to plant rice, for example, have been converted to the production of biofuels, and that in a way reduces the output of rice or maize. But the problem, I think, is really the question of affordability of food, particularly rice as a staple. And if you look at countries in Southeast Asia where 30 to 50% of the household income goes to just buying of food, then that's where you talk about food insecurity. But there's the other thing that we haven't looked at actually. When you talk about the access or the supply of, for example, resources from the sea like fish, and you can actually be getting more than what you really need, so you're actually wasting the resources of the sea. For example, uncontrolled fishing, for example, that's one area where not much attention has been paid. And in Southeast Asia, we're not only consumers of rice, we're also large consumers of fish stocks. We are really a region that is very rich in natural resources, and some economists would argue that if there is enough supply, the question really is more to do with the management and the distribution of these resources.
There are already solutions being mooted to improve food security in ASEAN. Fresh ideas coming from governments, NGOs and the private sector alike.
What we need to do is put more emphasis on the supply side in terms of research and development, in terms of providing more fertile lands for rice production, providing more incentive for farmers to go into rice production and other food commodities, and also to ensure reasonable pricing, so that their effort is actually rewarded.
Mutual support system prepared for potential food crisis is necessary. According to the level of a crisis, rules for emergency food accommodation and support have to be fixed. Processed food other than raw materials will be included among items of emergency support. One of the better proposals is to have processed food stored for 2 or 3 years against emergencies for all ASEAN people. ASEAN needs to put priority on improving irrigation systems and expanding irrigated land because those affect productivity directly. Most influential and important thing is R&D investment for seed innovation. We need second green revolutions. I propose top leaders of ASEAN to take action for foundation of R&D Center for Asian Agriculture.
But the issue of food security is wide-ranging and beyond the scope of any one government. Private sector involvement is a critical component in the equation.
Government entities can do so much as far as policy, as far as regulations or incentives. But in the final analysis, it's the private sector. It's the food production companies and corporations who have been involved in this industry for a long, long time. They have the expertise, they have the network, they have the reach, and they have the technology and the management.
The efforts of ASEAN and private organizations will not only serve its citizens, but could potentially help the larger global community.
I think we have an important role as a global citizen to ensure that we are able to produce not only for us but also for the global community. So I think in a sense the plan that we are developing, the strategic plan for food security, takes care of that.
This strategic plan on food security was formally adopted at the 30th meeting of ASEAN Ministers on Agriculture and Forestry, AMAF, in Hanoi, Vietnam on the 23rd of October 2008. Key areas of focus under this strategic plan are strengthening the food security arrangement, promoting a conducive food market and trade, strengthening integrated food security information systems, promoting sustainable food production, encouraging greater investment in food and agro-based industries, and addressing emerging food-related issues like the impact of climate change.
Becoming a more competitive and more stable rice-producing area is the first target, while improving the reserve system of ASEAN. A prompt donation system operated jointly with Japan, China, and Korea to countries that face poverty or disasters will be a great contribution for the global community.
If we have support from the rest of the international community in terms of investment, in terms of management, in terms of distribution system and processing technology, I think we will certainly contribute much to the alleviation of the food crisis around the world.